Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I am your host, Attorney Lee Marvin, and I'm here in a very exciting location, Colombia, South America. If you tuned in last week, it was probably to see the notice that I was not going to be able to do the broadcast last week because I was in a location that didn't permit doing this live broadcast. So I'm here tonight. I made an effort to make sure that I was in a location that I could do this live broadcast. So welcome if you're joining. If you're watching this on repeat, a video later on after the live broadcast, you're equally welcome here to the information I answer, all the questions I answer, all the information that I give to you. It's freely given with a spirit of survival, moving forward, being joined and connected with your loved ones who are probably immigrants. That is why I'm here. So this is the Immigration Questions and Answers show, and I invite you to please, if you're joining from Facebook, welcome, Instagram, or YouTube, welcome, and kindly put your questions in the comment section so I can get to your questions. I apologize tonight. I do have a cold. I don't apologize for the cold. I just apologize that it's going to sound a little weird sometimes, but we're going to get through it. So welcome, everyone, and please don't feel shy. Just post your questions when you have them. Mr. Caddy, Mr. Grinch, Mr. C, thank you. I'm glad you're the first one to join tonight and to say hi to me. Sir, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I know that we've got some unfinished business to talk about probably when I get back from Colombia, but it's always a joy to have you on here. So thank you for being a loyal friend and follower. Plums, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. I'm still on vacation, but hey, when on vacation, if you're as dedicated as I am to what you do, vacation is just a place that you go with your family. You try to fit your work in, and that's exactly what I'm doing tonight. So thank you for asking. This is trending online about the Dignity Act. Can this help people who have TPS? I got to look at the trends. I was preparing for this live broadcast, and I haven't looked up the Dignity Act. I will say that most acts are just temporary. They're proposals. I don't know how that's going to impact TPS. I will certainly be providing more information as it comes to me, as I devour all the information put out there. I just haven't had a chance today to do that, Plum, so I apologize for that. But I will have more information forthcoming, and if it's relevant and I think helpful to you guys, I'll probably do a video about it. So stand by for that. So thank you again for that question. Okay, and again, David, hello to you too, sir. This might be the same thing that Plums was asking about. 875 HR, so that's House of Representatives, so that's a proposed bill. I don't really lose much sleep or get too excited about any proposals that go through Congress. It's a waste of time and effort. So I don't have any information on that. I'm not up to date on the stuff that happens in the Senate or the House. After it goes through, or after it has a lot more traction, I might, but as of right now, I have no idea what bill that is. So I cannot provide any intelligent information to you about that. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Yes. Mr. Grinch, absolutely, you can count on that. I will definitely be with you. When I'm back home. So it's a little bit different here because it's already dark here. You can't see because I have a white background. I don't have the trademark, artwork behind me because I'm limited with where I am and what I can do. But it is dark here. I always forget in Colombia, it gets dark sooner than it does back home in Michigan. But it's an hour earlier for me, but for you guys, it's probably the same where you are. Okay. Um, there's been a number of questions that I have gotten on my YouTube channel that I do have questions available that I will get to in a second here. Let me pop over to Instagram, see who's over there following us, and if there's any questions. Again, please type your questions as they come up. Just type them in, and I will get to them as soon as I see them. Um, so again, here's a question about processing times for the I601 waiver. I would have to look that up. I do regular videos about processing times, and this is for Mahmoud. You have a very long screen name, so I won't repeat the whole name, but um, processing times. If you go to my YouTube channel and you type in processing times for the 601 waiver, I recently did an update video on that. You can always take a look for that. But as of right now, I don't have that information, and um not going to take the time right now to look it up for you. I apologize, but I do have a number of other questions that were asked to me earlier that I did want to get to. So stand by. Let me get to that real quick. Um, da, da. It's always a little bit awkward when I'm not in my home environment. So being in Colombia is a wonderful experience, but it's tough to kind of stay on top of things, if you know what I mean. So here's some some of the questions that were asked earlier. Um, so this is a question from my YouTube channel, one of my videos that I did. Um, it was about green card holders who will be required to have a secondary inspection. Um, and the question was, would a reckless driving criminal court ticket trigger a secondary inspection if it was dismissed after 6 months? Okay, that question was asked. Um, and the answer to that question, I think, really comes down to when it was, because almost everything is going to trigger a secondary inspection. If it was within the last couple years, especially. So if you have something like reckless driving is kind of a big deal. Um, it's a much bigger deal than driving without a license or anything like that. Reckless driving means that you are a danger to society. So this individual who asked this question should expect a secondary inspection. Um, And again, everything comes down to what kind of status you have in the United States. If you have legal permanent residency and you have a reckless driver um, history, you might be pulled into secondary inspection, but they're not going to detain you for very long. They're not going to reject your entry into the United States because reckless driving is not a deportable offense. It just means that this administration is going to take a lot more scrutiny, or they're going to look a lot more carefully over people's histories to see if there's more problems. Okay. So hopefully that helps others of you that have similar questions to that. Okay. Um, okay. Another question. Let's see here. One second, folks. And again, don't feel shy. Please type in your questions. Not a lot of questions yet. And I know it's fairly early in the broadcast, but I'm here for another 20 minutes or so. So please type in those questions. Okay. So this question, again, my YouTube channel, relating to a video I did about adjustment of status processing times. So that's related to the question earlier. Um, why is my dad getting a 485 rejected 2 times? Did I send the document wrong to the wrong location? I am from Dallas, Texas. I applied for I130 1 year ago, and the application went to California Service Center. Okay, this sort of question is one of those questions that are very important, but the context of it is sometimes lost because there's a lot going on in this person's history. But the one thing I'll say is that when people file their own immigration, I understand it's important to survive in life and to save money. But more important than that is to not waste time and money, okay? So I say for anyone who actually files their own immigration, beware, okay? Immigration Immigration enforces the law across the board, whether an attorney files something or whether someone files it themselves. But they give a lot more grief to people who file things than themselves. They don't answer questions, and things oftentimes are left to chance or they linger longer. So if people do their own things, it's a lot more difficult to say why things are taking longer. So that question, I usually say that it depends. I mean, I don't know about this particular person's history. It really depends. If any of these questions I give you guys here on Mondays are not sufficient, it's an open invitation for you to book a time to talk to me directly where you can share more information. I can analyze it and I can give you better answers. Okay. I can't do everything in this half an hour every Monday night. I do the best I can, but you're always welcome to book a time to talk to me directly. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the questions that are coming on the live right now. Um, Okay, so here's a question. This seems like a pretty hot question. Joseph, please help me understand. After my interview last month, I don't have any updates showing that I attended the interview. What does that mean? The officer told my lawyer that she had to review. Um, so Joseph, hang in there is what that means. Because honestly, um, that is kind of it's called a bait and switch, right? The immigration agent tells you something at the time, and then they switch something later on, maybe. To be honest with you, most of the time, immigration is straight down the line. They're not trying to screw with people. They're not trying to confuse you. But this is a bureaucracy, man. This is a bureaucracy like none other than the IRS. Income tax and all that stuff. Immigration is a very complicated bureaucracy, and if they told you that, I would believe you. I mean, I would encourage you to believe that what they're telling you is they're being sincere with you. Um, they do review stuff, okay? Usually, okay, after a month, usually you're going to hear pretty quickly after that, okay? But they do have to run it through their supervisors. They do have to kind of analyze it. If you had any kind of negative history with yours, they're definitely going to take their time. They're not going to prove it right away. If you have a solid filing with a good attorney that filed it and you have no negative history, it shouldn't take a month. Sometimes it does. It depends on where you are, what field office. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. If you need more information that your attorney that you already paid doesn't have the answer to, you can always reach out to me and I can try to help you. But I wouldn't give up hope or faith that it's going to work for you. Okay. Okay, so let me go over here to. Okay, here's a question. I'm a green card holder with a clean record. Good. I'm happy to hear that. I have been outside the US for 5 months now. Would I have problems when I go back next month? So, Hamza, you shouldn't have problems, right? You, you absolutely have the right to travel as a legal permanent resident. Um, and as long as you're not staying out for more than 6 months, you really don't have a whole lot to worry about. I wouldn't go longer than that. I would keep it within that 6 month period of time because that's what they're expecting. If you're going to be out longer than that, you really need to prepare for that in advance at all times, not just because of the Trump administration, but because that's how it works. Any stays for longer than 6 months, um, immigration doesn't, they don't dig it, they don't like it. That's not what the law is telling you to do. So stay within 6 months. Don't risk it. I don't think you're going to have any problems. Okay. Okay. So Marvin, love the name. People often think that that's my first name, but that happens to be my last name, Marvin. I have 11 months remaining on my I-130 petition. Can I file the 485 while I wait? No, you cannot, Marvin, because the right to file a 485 is dependent on an approved I-130 petition. Right now, you got nothing but a receipt notice, okay? So, Marvin, you need to be approved to have the right to move forward to file your green card. Right now, you just have a sponsor petitioning you, and the green card request is only possible for people with an approved I-130, okay? If you have more questions beyond that, you know how to reach me. At the bottom of your screen, you can book a time to talk to me, and I can help you with the second part of your process if you need help, okay? Um, okay, so let me go over here. She needs time to review. Okay, Joseph, this is a very similar question um, to the last question I had about processing times. Okay, Joseph says my lawyer asked her. Okay, um, oh no, okay, so this is a follow up to your question. My lawyer asked her when we can expect the results. The officer told her that she needs time to review. It means what it means, Joseph. It means they take as long as they want to make sure that you are meeting all the requirements and that there are no issues behind the scenes. Okay. That's what that means. She's not trying to mess with you. She's just telling you and your attorney. As an attorney, I would never ask that question, right? Because honestly, that just antagonizes the agent. I mean, what is the agent supposed to say? Well, I'm going to give you exactly this much time. No, they're going to say, I will take as long as it takes to actually do my job the right way. So it's kind of a dumb question from an attorney. So it takes as long as it takes. If it's way beyond expectation, well, then you can start challenging the government. But it takes as long as it takes. So just hang in there, Joseph. I have faith that things are good for you. Although that question from your attorney makes me think that they don't have a lot of experience. I'm just saying, but I think that you should be okay. Okay, just be patient. Um, okay, okay. So Yolande is another favorite person that I see on here. Yolande, thank you for joining us. Please let me know if you have any questions, okay? Um, uh, okay, so Marvin, sounds good. Give us a call. Yes, if we can help you further, we can book a time to talk directly with you and answer all your questions. I'm happy to help, okay? Okay, let me go. Before I go to Instagram, I've got to look at this question from Peace on Earth. Okay, so great screen name. I appreciate it very much. Okay, if you get a 601 waiver approved for crimes involving moral turpitude, not an aggravated felony, thank God for that, and an adjusted status, but the crime was committed within 5 years, but before your legal permanent resident, can the 601 help from removal of inadmissibility? That's a very complicated question. Peace on earth. Um, so peace on earth. This is one of those questions that would not do you any service to answer it in the way it's written. Okay, because it's slightly confusing, and there's more information that I would need to answer the question. That it's not going to do you any good on a free live to answer this question. I'm not going to commit to an answer to a question like that before I know more information. So I would invite you. I'm going to hide this question. So here's the information at the bottom of the screen. Reach out to me. It's worth booking a time to talk directly to me so I can get more information. Because again, you're talking about deportability. If you are up against possible deportation, you don't want just a free live broadcast answer, right? You're going to need more information than that. And booking a time to talk to me is the best way to do it. And Joseph, the pleasure is mine, and I'll talk to you at another time if you need me. And have a very good night. Okay. Um, okay. So again, Yolanda is asking a question about um, F2A processing times for August. I don't have that information, Yolanda, in front of me. I'm sorry for that. But I can, one second. Okay, one second. I'm trying to multitask here. Um, so Yolanda is asking about processing times. Um, let me, okay. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to catch up here. Um, okay. I'm gonna post, and I apologize, folks, that I didn't already do this. Um, I always forget there's the phone number, but there's also my link to a consultation. And I'm gonna post that here so it's much easier. You don't have to look it up. Because that's the best way for you guys to book a time to talk to me, to get more information for me. Again, I don't always have time. I post stuff online, as you all know, for the benefit of everyone. I don't have time on this show to look up things. Sorry, Yolande. You do have that contact information. If you need to book a time to talk to me, or you can look at the video that I post that tells you how to find that information. I just don't have a whole lot of time tonight because I'm kind of double dipping here. Last week's live I missed, so I'm trying to catch up on last week's questions, and this week's questions as well. So, but thank you kindly, Yolande, for asking. I know you're always on here, and I sincerely appreciate you doing that. Um, so thank you for that. Okay. 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 Yes. Yes. Daoud, it's my pleasure, and I do remember you from before. And the pleasure is mine to give you that advice. If you need more information, you know where to find me. Okay. And I'm going to go to some of those questions that I promised to get to from last week. One second, y'all. One second, one second. Where was that? Okay, here. Um, okay. Let's see here. Um, these are tragic. I hate reporting these sorts of questions or answering these questions, but I got a question. If I married my now ex-husband thinking he loved me and later he divorced me after he received his green card, will I get in trouble? That's horrible. Immigration fraud is disgusting. It's not just disgusting to all of, law-abiding citizens, but a sponsor where you actually married somebody is despicable. To answer this question, no, you will not get in trouble if you married somebody sincerely believing that it was a legitimate relationship and you went through the immigration process to get him a green card and it worked. And then they told you, basically let you know that they're using you. You as a sponsor are not going to get in trouble, right? There's no way for you to get in trouble. If immigration were to reach out to you and say, how dare you do that? Say, hey, guess what? Join the club. I'm mad at the person too. They lied and used me and abused me. So the answer to that question from one of my videos is no, you are not going to get in trouble for someone manipulating and using you, even though they derived a benefit from the United States government. You're not going to get in trouble for that. Okay. So fear not. That's not how the system works. Okay. Um, Here's another question that was asked that I want to get to. If you have a K1 fiance visa, you don't need to file I-130. Is that correct? Okay. So that's a question from my YouTube channel. So the I-130 is the different way of getting to the green card process. So the answer to the question would be that is correct. You have a different type of visa to get you to that green card process, and it gets you in the door, and then you move to the next phase of the operation, which is filing for the green card. So that would be an accurate assumption. So the I-130 is a petition. It's a petition for an alien relative, is what it's called. If you're a fiance, you're not an alien relative. You actually are filing through the fiance visa process. Okay. So if you have more questions about that sort of topic, you guys know how to reach out to me. I posted my link for anyone that needs it. Okay. Let me go over to Instagram, see if I'm missing anyone in the last 4 minutes of this broadcast. Not a whole lot of questions on Instagram, so I'll go back to my questions from last week because there were a lot. Um, okay. Okay. So I thought I had them prepared better. Um, so, um, okay. Okay. Here's a question. I'm not sure where some of these things come from. Again, this is from a YouTube channel. Actually, it was from my live, I believe, from last week. I was told that after June 25th of 2025, any U.S. citizen that goes out of our country will not be allowed back. Is this true or false? That's so false. It's ridiculous. That is one of the silliest things I've heard in a very long time. United States government cannot ever reject a U.S. citizen from reentering the country. They might put you in an area to verify who you are and what status you have, but the United States government can't prevent a U.S. citizen from entering their country. It's your country. It's not the United States government's country. It's you as a U.S. citizen country, right? The lines get blurry when this crazy immigration stuff happens, but I know it's a proposal. It's absurd that the United States government will be able to pass a law that rejects entry of U.S. citizens. I will watch it. We'll watch it closely. There's bills all the time. Doesn't mean anything. Most of the time, it's to get PR, right? But don't fear stuff like that. But the answer to that question is no. The United States cannot reject a U.S. citizen entry into the United States. It's not going to be possible. And that law, even if that's a proposed law, it's absurd, and that law is not going to go anywhere. Okay, so fear not. Okay, so I'm going to look at a few of these other questions. Again, a lot of shy people. I see again a lot of regular joiners, and I appreciate that, but kind of shy tonight. That might be I don't know, because I was gone last week, or maybe because I'm in Colombia. But please, the last couple minutes, if you have any questions, please ask them. Again, you guys know that I post these videos, so you can go back and review things. And again, my links are always in there for booking consultations to ask you more or answer more direct questions from you. I love consultations. It allows me to get more into detail. It's a lot easier than my live broadcasts. And again, I have less than 1 minute. So I will thank you for joining me while I'm here in Colombia. It was Independence Day for Colombia. It was a little bit loud earlier, which is why my venue changed a little bit. So thank you again for joining. And then Happy Girl, thank you. I'm glad you joined me in the last dash right before I'm done. And I sincerely appreciate, because I know you're on here regularly. So thank you kindly for that. And I'm glad I didn't miss you. But again, signing off from Colombia, from Barranquilla, Colombia, South America. Thank you for joining me. Next week, I'll be back home in my home venue, East Coast time, Eastern Standard Time, Detroit time, for Immigration Live with Lee. I will see you next Monday. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. See you next week.